Welcome to Hudson Valley Unleashed. A chef and a DJ go looking for the soul of the Hudson Valley. Hudson Valley Unleashed isn't just stories. It's a front row seat to the people who give this place its pulse. Local icons, renegade artists, reclusive legends, wild-eyed dreamers, and neighbors who casually change the world. It's part interview, part kitchen table therapy, part back porch happy hour, and as always, just a little unleashed. I'm Dave Leonard, former program director of WDST and co-founder of WKZE and host of Radio Unleashed. And with me is chef owner Josh Kroner, the culinary creative force behind the Hudson Valley's Terrapin Restaurant. And running the show behind the scenes is Jacob Hutchings, keeping us on point and making sure we have fun and sound great.
Today's podcast is brought to you by
JTD Productions, professional DJ services and live musicians for Hudson Valley weddings and parties. There is no greater luxury than peace of mind and no greater indulgence than shaking your booty. JTD provides both. Learn more and check availability at jtdproductions.com.
Today's guest is Chef Ric Orlando. I met him when I opened my first spot in West Hurley 28 years ago, and Ric was the hotshot Woodstock chef making waves at New World Home Cooking. Ric's got legit rock and roll roots, band guy turned chef, and he still cooks like the volume knob is turned up to 11. Thank you, Rob Reiner. And yes, we have to say it out loud. He beat my old boss, Bobby Flay, on Beat Bobby Flay.
On Hanukkah. Latke Day today.
Love it.
Happy
Yeah.
Hanukkah.
You threw
it. Ric
you threw
Orlando
down with
latkes
those
are there.
legendary latkes.
Yeah.
These days, Ric's still cooking, teaching, bottling the heat with his sauces and spice rubs, and he's running chef-driven food and culture tours, especially in Sicily. Deep local, not the touristy shit.
Yep.
Chef Ric Orlando, welcome to my home and Hudson Valley Unleashed.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
Thank
it's good
you.
to
Hello,
see
Dave.
you.
Hello,
Good to
Jacob.
see you, Ric.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Man, it's good to see you in person.
Yeah.
It's funny because Dave and I were just talking about this. We've both known you for so long. And Dave was doing gigs at your place, the New Year's Eve gig, the
Halloween. It was like
Halloween,
residency
yeah.
The
for years.
Halloween's at New World. Halloween is ruined for me now. I can't even
The bar
deal
was
with
so high.
Halloween. The Halloweens were so great.
You
at New World.
had the best Halloween party.
They were amazing.
Yeah, still.
The first Halloween party, we were still on Xena Road.
That's what we're
in
talking
the
about.
original New World. And then we decided to take over the bigger building on 212, and we hadn't moved the restaurant in yet. I don't know if you remember this, but we decided to just do catering there. After a year, we decided our lease was up on Xena to move. So we decided to have a Halloween party. 400 people showed up. We didn't have a cash register. Guys we had the bar, we had cigar boxes. I had cash. I was so afraid of people were paying $20 to get in. I was going in the kitchen and throwing them in the stock pots hanging on the hooks. It was madness, and it was always madness, and it was really fun.
I love being
We
a
had the
part of
best.
that.
New World had the best parties.
Yeah.
Really, since I've been in the Woodstock area, that was always the spot. And
It was lightning in a bottle, though. It was about food, yeah, and about my vision, but it was a community place. We decided, especially when we moved to the bigger restaurant, all this space. People wanted to do a fundraiser. They wanted to do something. I'm like, go ahead, just give me the bar. I didn't even charge people because I just wanted to keep the place full. And that's always been my philosophy on restaurants. I'll go out someplace that's amazing for amazing food, but in general, I want to go to a place that just feels great. And when there's a lot of people in a place, it feels great. I've gone to great restaurants where in the winter or Hudson Valley, there's 5 tables and food is good, but the experience is all right. I've gone to restaurants that are kind of mom and poppy, but they're vibing. And I'm like, there's certain places I like to go now that the food isn't rocket science, but the experience is always like really fun. And that's what I like.
I'm sure that a lot in Italy with all of those.
Yeah, I've rarely been to an empty restaurant in Italy. If you go out at 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night, everybody, no matter where you are, the middle of nowhere, the restaurants are full. People just come out from under the rocks and go out. It's a thing. It's a culture.
People always think that you can't find bad food in Italy, but I have found bad food in Italy. It's more of there's some places that are incredible.
You can find, especially in the tourist cities, bad food in Italy is better than bad food.
I was going to say,
in
it's
the
like Woody
United
Allen,
States.
bad sex.
It's
you know.
because it's
Exactly. At least you know that no matter how bad it is, the ingredients don't suck.
That's
Where here
exactly
you go to a
true,
place
yeah.
and it's like you're going to get canola oil and whatever. You're not going to get real food. But many of the people that I bring to Italy are surprised at how simple the food is. They're looking, unless we go to a couple of Michelin-y kind of places, but at the end of my tours, and we'll get into them, I know, and I ask people, what was your favorite meal? No one says the Michelin restaurant. They all say, oh, that meal with that little grandmother or that stuff the fisherman cooked on that fire outside. 'Cause that's
I
authentic.
totally agree with you.
We set a bar for a certain kind of thing,
Right.
but these restaurants now, contemporary fine restaurants are, I just think that they're, let's do a musical analogy. When I was young and playing guitar, I was really fast. And I met an experienced older guitarist named Ric Derringer, who said to me, dude, it's not what you could play. It's what you should play. And I feel that way with a lot of cooks. It's not what you can do. Yeah, sure, you can char leeks, but boy, a braised leek is perfect. Sure, you can do all these things. You could make flying butterflies out of fish, or you can just give me a perfect piece of crudo. Doing less sometimes with the best stuff is much better.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been my philosophy, and I think we've had a similar kind of cooking style in that
Yeah.
sense. That we're not trying to be overly fancy. We're just trying to make people happy with our food.
But you're still doing it.
I am still doing it, yeah.
So making people happy. I'll tell you a funny story. We went to the New World won a bunch of Sante restaurant awards when Sante magazine was the big industry
sure.
magazine. And I went to a seminar with one of the Brennan family from the Brennan Restaurant Group in New Orleans. And he wrote a book called The Simple Truth. And he said, listen, I don't care what you do, whether you're doing Michelin or whether you're doing po' boys, you need a simple truth to express to your cooks and your staff what you're trying to achieve and execute what you're trying to achieve. So what's your simple truth? Well, came home, I took Big Jim Shapiro, which you know.
Yeah,
out,
sure, James.
A few of us, we went out for Chinese. And at the end, and we're talking about this, what's our simple truth? I don't know. We do some kick-ass spicy food, but we also cater to vegans, and we make really good authentic braises and old school food. And I opened my fortune cookie, and the fortune cookie said, everyone seeks happiness, you create it. And I said, dude, that is our mantra. Create happiness. We create happiness. So from about
Love it.
2008, that's
In
when we
bed.
train people. We create happiness.
That's that's
You
great.
want to come in and get a Caesar and a glass of water? Make them happy. You want to do 6 courses? Make them happy. Learn to make everybody happy.
My greatest thrill as a
great.
chef has always been watching someone eat my food and smiling or talking about it or
Yeah.
having a reaction, and that I knew because the food that I gave them made them happy.
That's called getting applause.
Yeah.
That's why we're in it. Come on,
Yeah.
who are you kidding? We're in there. I love you, man. Back in the old days, they would slip you little snow seals or little bags of things. Thank you, man. Great meal. Tone down a bit.
Right,
But
thanks
early
for playing
days in
my song.
Woodstock, early days in Woodstock were pretty crazy.
Dude, so when did you get here? And I thought you were from Boston. You're not from Boston, but you spent some time there.
I'm from New Haven,
Okay.
and I spent some time in Manhattan. Went back to New Haven. I met a woman. I was 22. And we moved to Boston, and that's where I stayed. That's where I started my music career.
I'll say you're rock and roller then.
I was rocking in New Haven for 5 or 6 years and learning to cook at the Elm City. But then I got to Boston, and after a bunch of wanky kind of waitering jobs, I got a job at the Harvest, and the Harvest changed my life. And if anybody, you can Google it, it's legendary. The Harvest was in the back of Harvard Square. Some of the chefs of note there were Sarah Moulton, Lydia Shire, Molly O'Neill, Chris Schlesinger. Daily Menu back in 1982. And we bought from local people back in 1982. And Julia Child came there all the time because she was best friends with Jane Thompson and her husband, Mr. Thompson. I forgot his name, but they were architects who designed Quincy Market, the Baltimore waterfront, Fulton Fish. So they were players. And they had a place in France, and Julia was a friend. So Julia was there all summer when she was in Cambridge. And Sarah Moulton was producing her show. She ate at the Harvest a lot, so I got to cook for them. And it was really...
Did you get to meet Julia?
I cooked for her a lot. As a matter of fact, Julia, I pissed off all the experienced Johnson and Wales guys in the kitchen because I was like the punk rock guy who came in and cooked lunch. I was one of the lunch day chef. And back then, there was no internet. There was a little closet with cookbooks called the Chef's Library. And I walked into the walk-in. There would be notes for me. 4 ounces of grouper left, make a pasta special. 4 portions of grouper left. This much left, make a special. I would have to utilize what was left from the daily menu. And the chef said, there's some interesting things in the walk-in. One of them is tamarind. Now, it wasn't like we buy now, tamarind concentrate. It was literally a bushel of tamarind
seeds,
pods. And I started looking in books, and I couldn't find anything. And then I found something in some culinary encyclopedia. So I boiled them, strained them, and made a mussels dish with tamarind broth and herbs and butter and blah, blah, blah. And Julia walked in the kitchen. Who made the mussels? They were fabulous. And all the cooks sneered at me because they were all old pros. And I was like 24. And I'm like, that would be me. You have a marvelous palate. boy, that was yeah.
Looking for the thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Yeah, applause. But it was fun. It was a really inspirational time. I did other things there. I worked in a big Jewish deli. I waited tables at the European because I would leave the harvest and come back. Whenever the band had something big to do, I would leave, or sometimes I would just leave because I was 24 and in a band and I don't want to do this anymore. And then I'd come whimpering back after 4 months. And you know how it is when you have somebody, even if they're an asshole, if you know they can do the job, you often hire them back.
Oh yeah.
I hate this guy, but man, he can saute.
I had this guy. He was the best sous chef I've ever had, and I fired him 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept hiring him back because he was the only person. Like, being an asshole sometimes can actually be a positive, as long as you're a hard worker and you get the shit done.
As long as you can execute the food. We have a guy in common. I'm not going to mention his name, but it starts with an R that I fired 8 times.
Oh yeah.
And I still use him for parties occasionally.
He was just a good cook.
Yeah. He knows how to bang it out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't veer from your vision. That's really important when you're a chef. I had gotten to a point, and Eric Mann and I had a conversation about this. He couldn't believe that I had culinary students in my kitchen. He said, I can't have people changing my food. I said, well, most of the culinary students I have are externs, and everyone else was either Latino, and then I had my brain trust, my sous chef, 1 or 2 people. But my Latino crew, God bless them all, Juan, 25 years, Rolando, 9 years, Raul, 12 years, Carlos, 12 years. If I said, this is the recipe, it's typed out, this is how we sear it, this is how we sauce it, this is how we plate it, they took more pride in doing it right than making it different. And I've had so many culinary students that would take a recipe that we would make over and over, and they were all printed. You know, chef, I was looking at that glaze you make for the short ribs. I thought it needed a little more vinegar. I'm like, you're 12.
Right.
You're not ready.
Believe
for
me,
this
man.
yet,
You're preaching to the choir. And I've been open for 22 years in Rhinebeck, and I used to hire a lot of culinaries. And now it's 100% great Latinos that are dedicated to what I do. They want to cook like I cook. They want to do exactly what I do.
They want to be your soldiers.
Right. They're not interested in creating something unless I need them to, as sous chefs and that sort of thing. And the culinary students, they get cocky. They want to raise. They want to be the chef. You've only been here for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You're going to be a sous chef.
I've had some great ones, and some of them are doing very well. Like Ryan Viator owns Buns Burgers. He was one of my externs.
Oh, yeah.
I've had quite a few that have done well, and I go out and I see them everywhere. But in general, the majority of them, especially like after 2006, 7, 8, 9, it started getting, because the culinary changed their protocol. Before that, you had to have 2 years in the field in an approved facility before you can get into the culinary. Now they come right out of high school.
Is that what happened?
Yes. When they changed all the format.
It's just that. This is the other major factor. And I know what our audience is because I look at our analytics, so I'm not pissing off too many of our actual listeners. But man, the kids these days, it's unbelievable. Like, it's not like it was. Like when we came up, we worked our fucking asses off. And that was normal. You know, that was normal for our generation.
And I was able, when I opened Albany in 2009, I still had 2 people. I had 3 Latino guys that had been with me forever. I had a woman and 2 men that did their externship with me that stayed on during the rest of school as weekend warriors that were still working for me. That's how I was able to open a second restaurant 50 miles away. I took 2 of them. They knew my routine. I said, just train everybody. You do it. You know, they know my recipes. This goes back to
my whole world. Succeed because of me. Don't be dependent on me.
And then trying to explain to some young 21-year-old kid, I hate to tell you this, but everybody wants to think that I'm cooking every dish. Okay.
Right.
Don't take this the wrong way, but they don't care who you are. They want to think that Rick cooked everything. I remember one time I walked in the back door of New World. I had been in Albany all day. I had whites on, or like a black chef coat. I went in through the back door and I was cutting through the dining room, and someone called me over and said, I knew you were here. I said, man, only you can make my burger. And I looked at the dude and it was a medium well burger. That was me, man. I made a medium well burger. It was delicious, right? But it's like that. It's like with you.
I know. You
do your parties. Where's Dave? Isn't Dave doing the party?
Or on the air. It's like,
you got to get the little cutout.
Yeah. And you need the same thing. The creative, like the SOP, man, you need to have the standards. This is what I need and all. And with me, there's like freedom within that. Even programming radio for years, it's okay. We want to have 3 recurrents and 4 classic and 2 new ones. And then within that, you get a choice of 30 different songs or whatever, the A cuts and B cuts. But there's still like, at least in my day, I created this kind of I don't even want to call it an algorithm, but it's like a mathematical formula-ish to be whatever, unique enough without being too generic, being without bringing them too far out there, bringing them back, keeping them longer. Then there's between 18.
They call it an algorithm now, but back then it was just programming.
It was just my brain, right?
Yeah, and you reel them in a little bit, and then you let them drift. Yeah,
but you took like spices, like you weren't like I think of the food when I first went there. It's I think more of you rock and roller, not like a chef, of course chef, but it's like the personality and everything else, and the food was like vibrant, and I just loved it. I mean, the beans.
Yeah, the beans. Your beans were great. I never went to your place and didn't get the beans.
People still say it, man.
But you have some basics.
Beans.
Right. But you take it out there and you bring them back, or I think the same thing with me musically. Okay, I got them. Now let's go someplace. But you always want to kind of veer back to what you can do for your core.
Yeah, and it's designing a menu and a theming your restaurant is not really about cooking. It's about a menu is basically a seduction tool, right? When I go out, I look at the menu and say, I think I want to try this place. It looks good, but it has to have cohesion and it has to have a vision, right? A vision. When you opened the cafe part of Terrapin, you had a very clear vision. It was like the hippest diner in town. It was a really great place to go where you're going to get a duck quesadilla in a vibe like that, where you're not white tableclothing and stuff. And that's the same thing. You want to keep that vision. And until people have an understanding of your vision, you can't let them off the leash. Sorry, Dave. They have to be leashed, buddy. Leash.
I'm still stuck on seduction.
Were you just looking it up?
Just
He's Googling. What is seduction?
I know. I love I like you can be the seducteur or the seductee. I know the leash is interesting scenario there.
So let's get back to Boston. Now you're in Boston and you're working at the Harvest.
Working at the Harvest, yeah.
You rock and rolling too, though, right? Or no?
Yeah.
That's
I was in a really popular band called Skin. We were started out as a 4-piece kind of Gang of Four meets Talking Heads meets Bauhaus kind of artsy thing. And then a friend of ours showed up after his jazz gig named Michael Evans with his saxophone, and he just started sitting in. And before you know it, we had 2 horns, and we got funkier and funkier. And then we heard
morphine vibe.
We heard Pig Bag, all this stuff.
Are you still playing publicly?
Not so much. I had the trigger finger surgery, so my guitar playing's a little limited. I did some singing. I did a thing with Andy Chernoff from the Dictators, a song called Born Hungry. It was a rock and roll song, but it sounded NRBQ-ish. So I've been singing with a few people. I've been playing a little bass, but I'm in the middle of doing some actual recording now for the first time in a long time.
Why are you coming back around full circle?
I've never really stopped, but
okay.
No, I just got the itch a little bit of an itch. I've got some nice guitars. I was looking at all my guitars, and after I had my trigger finger surgery, I didn't play for a year or 8 months, and I'm playing again a little bit. Got that Stratocaster screaming. Are
you cooking at all these days, or did you make that shift? And do you miss being in the kitchen in that world or running the business?
Okay. New World was like lightning in a bottle. It was 25 years, so it was a long bottle.
A lot of
lightning in a bottle. Yeah. I don't think I can pull that off again. I don't think that kind of restaurant would go anymore, but maybe. But I do some consulting, and that gets me in a kitchen for anywhere between 30 and 45 days.
So this consulting gig, you actually work as a chef and you're in the kitchen?
If I'm reworking a menu, I'll work with their chef. Not a lot of places have chefs anymore. They have cooks. They call it chefs, but they're the people who run the kitchen. They're not the places I've done. I'm not going to mention the names, but I've done 4 or 5 local restaurants where I've reworked their menu. I reworked their recipes. I reworked their purchasing. I reworked their whole procedure of from point A to point B, preparation, plating, cleanup, among other things, changing their POS and all that kind of stuff. And it's difficult because the standards are way below my standards. Like I wouldn't sell coated French fries from a bag. Wouldn't sell Ken's Caesar dressing. And yet that's what's in all these restaurants.
Sounds like you should turn this into a TV show.
Right.
You know, like where you
throw that shit out. Yeah. I mean, I'll go in and the first thing I'll do is I'll go in for service, have dinner, watch. And then I go down into their storeroom and look at what they're cooking. And I'm like, so that's what that is. How much sweet chili sauce can you mix into all of your sauces? Yeah. So it's a little difficult. I was hard ass. We made everything.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Like even fries, it's not hard to make fries. Why do you need to pull them out of a bag?
Yeah. And there are some good fries in a bag that are not full of chemicals, 3 and 4 ingredient fries. And most of them buy these crunchy coated ones anyway, it's a little frustrating. Occasionally I get a good opportunity and work with some good people, but I also do cooking classes once a month, which is really fun.
Oh, that's cool. Where do you do those?
Like up at Capital Cooks in Colony.
So you just go on the website, Capital Cooks?
Capital Cooks NY.
Yeah.
They built a beautiful presentation kitchen with an island and all induction and 24 seats, like 6 4-tones.
Oh, nice.
So you could do 24 people. So my cooking classes are performance art. I'll bring 1 or 2 people up to do a certain thing. Come up here, I'll show you how to make plain ravioli. But most of it is I just present recipes. I put a menu together. I cook. I talk. I give them background, folklore, bullshit, whatever I want to do. I entertain them, and we eat and we cook together.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and I do it once a month, so it keeps me fresh.
And not only that, you have so many fans that probably are like so happy to be able to come up and see you cook and cook with you.
I can't go to Sicily, but I'm going to go to Colony.
Well, a lot of them actually come on the tours, and we can get to that in a minute. I will tell you something which is really interesting. I've been doing those classes since 1999, and only once or twice have I ever repeated a recipe. It's always a new menu.
Nice.
Always a new menu, and it's usually 4 dishes, something to put in front of them first, appetizer, entree, dessert kind of thing with sides. It's a lot. I work,
That's
and
amazing.
I joke with my guests because I'm there. It's 6 to 9, 6 to 8:30. I tell them, you're just all here to watch me get my ass kicked by myself. You know, but I'm cooking. I got 2 induction burners and a convection oven, and we bang it out. But it's a lot of fun. It's entertainment.
I actually was a culinary instructor at the French Culinary Institute right before I came up here, and I liked teaching, but I didn't like teaching there because it was too strict. And my original thing when I came up here was I was going to open a culinary school. Like,
Let's do it.
You wanted to add more
This
vinegar.
was in 97 when I came up. I'm like, I'm going to open a culinary school. And then I go to a bank and they're like, do you have a business plan? And I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
So then I had to figure that out. So I made a business plan and I was like, oh shit, you can't make money with a culinary school.
What Different Drummers does, they're open 5 or 6 nights a week. So Caroline, one of the owners, does a class a week. I do one a month, and they have about 6 or 7 chefs that rotate. During school breaks, they do kids camps, which are killer.
Cool.
Kids come in and make pasta, they make pizza, they do simple baking.
I love it.
It's really enjoyable for me because I get to be me. Hi, I'm Rick. Let's talk. Let's cook. Let's get to talk food, politics. And I actually am a whistleblower. I'll tell them about the shit you're getting in restaurants and why you're not going to make it that way. I don't hold anything back.
I love that. I really
And it's a lot of fun. And I make a decent amount of money, but people around here say, why don't you do it around here? I'm like, I can't find a venue where I can make enough money. If for 24 people, I make enough money.
Right. Do you record any of those?
We did a couple. I have a couple of videos. Oh, come on up. Bring camera. Let's do it. Very remiss with that. During COVID, I made tons of videos. I was doing it for DST. I was doing it with a couple of other companies, and I just haven't been doing
That's a
them.
good segue. This is
We did good video.
one thing that we've had similar careers in this area, but one thing you've excelled at is your TV career.
That's because I'm a front man in a band.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
it's all the same. That's when I do my cooking classes. I'm the front man of the band.
You
Let's
one
go.
chop twice, is that right? Or
One chop twice. Beat Bobby Flay. I took Ming Tsai around the Hudson Valley. I did a bunch of those.
So
things,
let's
you know?
talk about the Bobby Flay thing for a
All right.
minute.
You got a little thing
Because-
with Bobby.
Because
right?
we've never actually discussed this before. So how was Bobby? Was he cool? Was he a dick?
So I was very intense, okay, because he did 2 shows a day. When they did Beat Bobby Flay, I don't know if it's changed now, but they were doing 2 shows a day. They had the studio for a limited period of time. They painted everything. They set up those bleachers. Everything was built out, and they would bang out 2 seasons. So what was that, 26 shows, something like that, in a couple of weeks. And so he was cranking. But ironically, the day of my show was the day that the news broke that he was cheating on his wife and that whole thing. So he was like kind
Again.
of 2015. There was news that came out. It was on like Dateline or something, and we talked a bit, but we know each other, and he was totally cool. And I kicked his ass. What can I tell you?
Yeah, oh, good for you, man. Yeah, I didn't have the greatest ending with Bobby.
Most people, you know what? Let me tell you something. Most cooks don't have great endings with their chefs many times. Fortunately, over time, things heal. One of my favorite people in my whole life is a guy named Paul Rodriguez. So he was my first sous chef with me 5 years. By the end, things got stupid. He ended up firing him, and it was ugly. So I show up at this job. This was this summer. And who's the chef? Paul Rodriguez there to work with me. And I'm like, buddy, and we hug. And he was a little chilly, but by the end, we were hugging, we were laughing, we talked since. It was like a reunion.
Time.
And I said to him, I said, you know, I was an asshole. You were an asshole. We're both still assholes, but we can be friends.
Yeah.
And we laughed about it, and we had a really great time. We put out short ribs and stuff, and the usual wedding food, but it was fun to work with him. And
Yeah, but shit like that always happens in kitchens. It's a hot environment and it's stressful, and then
And it's really fun, and you'll appreciate this. You're an owner. I'm an owner. We have a different perspective on everything, right? Somebody puts the end of the pickle with the little root stem on it, and I'm like, dude, take that off the plate. Everything counts. Everything counts. Oh, you're a jerk. You're a jerk. I have a handful of people that have their own businesses. I told you Ryan Viator from Buns. There's a few other that have their own businesses, and almost all of them have said to me, Juan Romero.
Yeah, sure.
After 2 or 3 years of running their own business, and I see them, they just look at me and say, wow.
Thank you.
I understand you now.
It's
like,
standards.
It's your brand.
Yeah.
It's your life. You have a job. I have a life.
That's
like same thing. Rook, you've given people nuggets over the years. They might not have appreciated it in the moment. It's like your children.
Honestly, I think a lot of people think I'm really old now because they start saying, if it wasn't for you, I would never think the same way about food. I'm like, why didn't you say that 20 years ago when you were calling me a jerk and trying to steal my liquor? But we all grow up.
Oh yeah,
and we mellow.
We've had that. We've had those days.
But back to cooking. The other thing I've done, and I haven't done many this year, but I will be getting back into, is I do pop-ups in different locations. I've done some at Oriole 9. I've got a place in Averill Park, where one of my former managers has a country restaurant out in the middle of nowhere. I've done them in a couple of hotels.
So
let's
talk about the Oriole 9 pop-up. How did that work out?
It was good. I did 2.
So in the restaurant, you had a pop-up
At night, I took over the restaurant. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I worked with their sous chef, their chef, and I made a menu, and I charged a flat rate. It was a 5-course dinner.
Oh, cool.
You promote it. They promote it.
I could sell a 50-seat thing myself. The tricky thing about doing it in Woodstock, because Woodstockers, being Woodstockers, were calling me personally through my Facebook account or whatever. I want to come to your pop-up, but do you have seitan on the menu? Or do I have to have all 5 courses? Can I just get a couple courses? I'm like, it's a 5-course menu, and it starts at 7 and we go to 10. And they come strolling in at 7:45, 8:15. And it's plated. It's like
it's Woodstock.
It's a 5-course menu. So Woodstock was a challenge, but
yeah.
But I'm looking to do more. I was going to do some at Shine Studio, but that never really came together. But we're looking. I'd like to have a venue.
That's almost Saugerstock, close to home ish.
Yeah, they're fun. When I do them at other restaurants, I usually do them on one of their dark nights, either a closed night or a quiet night. And we do a special night. It's like do a pop-up.
So you're definitely keeping your hand. I like that. I don't think I realized that you were doing that much still. That's great.
You'll appreciate this a lot. One of the tricky things when you do them locally here, especially, is that people want to eat what they ate at New World 15 years ago.
Yeah.
There are some places, like when I go to Averill Park, I just pick a theme. I'm doing a Sicilian menu, or I'm doing a squid ink menu, or I'm doing a black menu, or whatever. And they come because they want my cooking.
I want string beans and ropa vieja.
Exactly. Ropa vieja, Thai green curry. It's like, no. I love those dishes. As a matter of fact, I just posted on Facebook. My son made ropa for my granddaughter, who's 5 years old, made ropa vieja for the first time for her.
It was some good shit, Rick.
And he said,
I remember
I'm
that.
very remiss. I didn't train
remember
my
the
daughter.
ropa. Yeah. You had some good ropa.
I'm sitting over here and the chefs are talking, but I'm like, man, this is exactly what I do with music. Dave, we want you to do what we did here. Oh, no, go do anything you want. No, let's have a theme. Oh, I really want old Stevie Wonder. No, I really want The Clash. Yeah. And it's a lot of similarities in music and food.
They want to hear, especially people who have loved you for a long time. I love you long time.
Right.
I want you to do the same thing you did to me last time.
Back in the early 90s or whenever you did that, right?
I think it's funny.
Can you make me do that again?
There's so many dishes on my menu that are pretty much there from the beginning.
Yeah. The one thing I learned, and again, this is the difference between a contemporary chef like modern and a traditional chef like us. We have signature dishes, and people come for those signature dishes. When we had Albany, we cranked. I was there from 2009. I took a buyout during COVID. They closed a year later. We were doing numbers in a 90-seat restaurant, 4 seatings on a Saturday, big numbers. And my cooks worked their ass off, and they were great. I had some wankers, but most of them were really amazing that they would put it out. And I would have to explain to them back to the blackened string beans. I see somebody throw them in the pan and not dance them around so they get a little burnt. I'm like, stop, you can't serve those string beans. Oh my God, I made 50 orders tonight. I'm like, well, there's some couple in a car on Delaware Avenue, 6 blocks away saying, ooh, I can't wait to get those string beans. Yeah. And you have to understand that your signature dishes, people have memories. And they want you to replicate that.
That is so true, yeah.
And I would try to use the romantic metaphor. I said, you have to make love to her the same way now that you did 20 years ago.
How you want her
because
but just don't go through the motions.
They could have something that they hadn't tried before they don't really like. But if they have the string beans that are the same way they've always been, they're going to come back again.
When Chrissy Hine from the Pretenders about 3 years ago said, we're going to go on tour and we're not going to play any Pretenders songs, that tour crashed.
Yeah, like Elvis
And
Costello.
now they're
when he
back
did
out
that.
doing
right,
it.
right. It's the same thing musically. I think
You want to see you want to hear the songs,
you do what you do, you win them over. And I would do this in introducing new artists, unsigned bands. Okay, you trust me? I'm going to take you out a little and bring you back. Okay, these are the dishes I want. Okay, now you've trusted me. Okay, we'll expand a little and bring in something new. And it's something new sticks, or they give it a shot because it's you and what you've built in your brand.
So let me take that a step further and talk about generational differences. For years, I would tell the cooks, I'd let them make a special, but I said, but the special has to feel like it's our food. It can't be out of. I said, when you go to a concert and you're digging all the songs, and they say, and now we're going to do a song the bass player writes. That's when you go take a piss.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to be that bass player. You try saying that in 2017 to a cook, they're like, concert? Bass player? What's a bass player?
Oh God.
It's like you're totally lost at
New
that
language.
point. They don't get it. But you know what I'm talking about. The intermission song.
God.
Absolutely.
You love that. Jacob's
I love
clapping
it.
over there.
Yeah. And now a short break. Terrapin Restaurant. From far-flung origins, the world's most diverse flavors meet and mingle here, in the heart of the Hudson Valley, at your table. From elements both historic and eclectic comes something surprising, fresh, and dynamic. Dishes to delight both the body and the soul. Terrapin Restaurant. Open for lunch and dinner and late night until 1 a.m. Montgomery Street, Rhinebeck. And online at terrapinrestaurant.com.
So talk to me about the Sicily and Italian tour thing, because I find it fascinating.
I got to go take a leak.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Sicily.
No, I've been waiting for this.
I had this offer. This was maybe 15 years ago. It was a tour company that said, oh, we have a tour in Umbria and we want you to do the tour. And I was like, all right, fine. And they're like, so I signed up for the whole thing and they're like, oh yeah, but you have to bring all the people. You have to find the
Right.
people. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. So I just cut the whole thing out. But I was like sad because I was looking forward to doing this tour and I didn't want to have to promote it. I didn't want to have to do all that. Is that difficult? Do you need to actually now it's not difficult because you have people that love your tours.
It's still always a stress. So I started, my first tour was in 2017 to New Orleans. And it all started because I also write, and I feel like I'm creative in that intellectual sphere. I absolutely loved Anthony Bourdain. I love what he did. In the beginning, I read his books and I liked his books, and his first couple of shows about eating weird stuff wasn't that exciting. But once he got into Parts Unknown and doing the real cultural stuff, I loved that. So I had some good friends in New Orleans, Poppy Tooker, who wrote all the cookbooks and is one of the queens of the cuisine, a bunch of people. I talked to them and said, I want to bring a group to New Orleans. And we did. And it was amazing. And yes, we went to Commanders. And yes, we went to Frenchman Street. But we also went to some really unique, oddball places that I knew chefs from, or chefs I knew chefs from.
And this was in 2017?
Yeah, we went to Mosquito Supper Club when they were still in a little house in the neighborhood. And it was they're cooking out of their home kitchen. And now they're like rock stars. But after I did that, I didn't make any money. I did it through a local travel agency in Woodstock. And I said to her, I want to do a Sicily tour. Why? I had just gone to Sicily with my son and daughter, getting their dual citizenship. We had to go to my family's hometown and get paperwork. I had never been to Sicily. Raising 3 kids and owning a restaurant, traveling outside of the country was a pain in the ass. We'd go Delaware, Montreal, whatever.
And I know what it's like. I
California.
didn't go on vacation for
Right.
10 years.
Yeah, and I did a bunch of stuff in California and the desert and stuff. But I did the Sicily tour with this company and brought 18 people, which was way more than I wanted to bring, and didn't make any money, but loved some of the stuff. It was too much. It was like every day was another city, a lot of bus rides. And I looked at the paperwork and realized it was a company called Italy Travel did all the coordinating. So I called the owners. And back then it was just husband, wife, and 2 employees. Now they got 15 employees. They're thriving. And I said, I want to do these tours on my own. They said, okay, do you have an itinerary? I said, I think so. I went back, traveled around with them, met some people, made a list, did the tour. I got the lion's share of the money that time. I was like, oh, I made some money. And by the 3rd or 4th tour, I kept fine-tuning it until I had it exactly where I wanted it. And the tour, the Discover Sicily tour, is just amazing. It's 10 days, and it's just enough of everything. You spend time in the countryside. You get a ton of culture. I work with local guides. I got 3 friends that are locals, and a lot of food, a lot of country food, a lot of. We started Taormina. We spent 3 days there at the oldest family-run hotel in Sicily called the Villa Schuler, which is incredible. We do a cooking class and a day in Catania with my friends Ivano and Loredana, which is amazing. We go to the Catania Fish Market in the morning. We buy all of our stuff. We cook together. We hang out in Catania. We go up Mount Etna and we pick different wineries. We do winery day. And then we go across to the other side of the island to the Agrigento area. And we found an incredible agriturismo called Fontes Episcopi, right? The Fountain of the Bishops. And it's this little agriturismo outside of a tiny town called Aragona, which is kind of like beat up old Sicily town, but this place is amazing. And the woman who runs the kitchen there, Maddalena Tirana, is a character. She's been on TV and speaks no English. We love each other. She just talks to me like in Sicilian, which I cannot make out anything, but the Google translates. There's a guy named Pier Filippo Spoto who started a company called Valdecam, which is experiential tourism. He's now a big influencer in the EU because he invented this thing over 20 years ago where you visit unknown small villages and meet the local people and actually eat with them. Like he takes us to these little villages in the country, and the people will set out card tables in the street, and the streets are narrow. And the mother's cooking in the kitchen window, waving, and the father makes his homemade wine, and we drink it out of water pitchers, cold red wine. It doesn't matter. People think those are the best experiences. And then we see some cheesemakers, and then we end up rocking out in Palermo.
That's really what it is. I did a biking tour through Sicily, and what you get is an authentic experience when you go on a tour. And if you're just a tourist, you're never going to get that.
And so now that I've done over 22 of this particular itinerary,
and you do the same tour, the same sort.
I have 3 or 4 different ones, but that one I've done over 22 times. Okay. Everybody knows me. When I show up, you are family. Literally, they come out of the house and the dogs at your feet, and amazing. Even in Palermo now, in the Capo Market, they all know me. I walk down Capo, they're like, Chef Orlando, try this. Oh, I got fresh sardines today. You know, it's really fun. We also do one of Puglia. I do a new one in Sicily called the Wild West, where we go up down the West Coast and discover all the Arabic influences. We have couscous and trapani. We do all that, the masala. And then I have the fancy tour, which we call the Heart of Italy, where we start in Barolo in the Piedmonts, Alba. We go through Modena, Parma, Bologna, and end up in Tuscany.
Oh, that's got to be a good one.
That's more of a foodie tour. After the first tour, I redlined about 6 places. I don't want to go to anonymous places. I want to go somewhere where the person knows I'm coming and comes out and greets my guests and shares their story.
Right. Well, that gives people more intimate of an experience.
Exactly, right? So we do some really cool stuff. We get this one kid. We go for white truffles with him and his dog, and Marco, he knows me. Chef Orlando, you got new people for truffles. Let's go. Can they walk on hills? And his mother cooks the meal with truffles for us.
And honestly, I'm sure that your tours are amazing because I've had this experience now in Italy. I was the sort of person that's like, oh, I've been to Italy so many times, I don't need to go on a tour. Mm-hmm. But it was an amazing experience, and it was like, my God, I never really saw.
Who'd you do it with?
Duvine. And it was great. We loved it.
My buddy Pier Filippo does bike tours and electric bike tours and bike tours like in Shaka and up and down the West Coast also.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, authenticity is where it's
those sort of things. But like having that experience, and I'm sure having it with you is probably a great experience. I'm sure you're a great tour guide.
I'm a host.
But you have the right personality for it, where you can meet people and you're genuinely excited to meet the people.
Yeah, and if you look at the reviews, that's what makes the guests happy. They say, oh my God, everywhere we went, our guide was great, Rick was great, and everybody knew us, and everybody knew us. And I've had people go back just to visit the people.
And that's exactly what I was going to get at.
So much for my next question, right?
And I would highly recommend anybody listening to check out Rick's tours just because of that, because I've had that experience where I'm with a guide that knows all of the people, and all of a sudden you feel like you belong, and it just gives you such a different experience. Exactly. And I've been to Italy. I'm Italian, and I go see my family, and that's one thing.
And where's your family again?
Up in Liguria.
Oh, okay. Love the food there.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because every region of Italy you go to, they have the best food according to them.
every house has the best food according to them. Exactly. I can't believe you ate the ragu next door. She's an idiot.
But anyway, I mean, anybody listening should definitely
consider. How do we find your tour?
RicOrlando.com. Okay, everything's there.
If not, Rick, find another tour because it's just a great way to experience
culture. Be careful with
tours
because a lot of the tours, I joke, a lot of the tours we say, get on the bus, see a church, eat pasta cacata. You know what pasta cacata means, right?
Yeah.
Italian ship pastas.
Yeah.
There's actually a really cool restaurant. Palermo has a pretty cool hipster scene going now. Really progressive, really hardcore and like militant progressive scene. And there's some cool restaurants. There's one called Biso Bistro. And on the bottom of the menu, it says pasta cacata for those who aren't sure. I mean, shit pasta. It's like pasta with red sauce, you know? There's a place called Locale, which is like one of the hippest places. As hip as Manhattan, really hip, but with pretty authentic Sicilian food. Really cool.
It's funny because I've been around Sicily a lot. I've been there like 3 times in the last 5 years, but I went to Palermo in the 80s, and it
So
was
different now.
Such a like
Scary.
gritty town.
Yeah.
And, like I didn't like that was something I was just passing through. I was young and I was like, ooh, this is scary.
Palermo's been discovered. It's one of the most fun cities I've been to. So many people I bring that are from New York that are a little older. So this reminds me of New York when it was good. But no, Palermo's exploded with not necessarily gentrification. There's a lot of tourist areas. Cruise ships go there now, but the mafia has been out of the picture for a long time, since the 90s, since they had all the maxi trials. So the mafia is not something you feel or know or think about. As a matter of fact, there are no mafia museums everywhere. We take people to Corleone and we call it the myth-busting day. And you learn the history of the mafia and why it's not something that
Is
should
that where
concern you.
Bar Vidi is? Is that the bar from The Godfather?
Corleone.
No, that's near Taormina, actually.
Yeah.
No, Corleone is in the country south of Palermo, next town over from where my family's from. My family's from Prizzi, like Prizzi's honor. But it's a beautiful town. They've got a gorgeous mafia museum, but people see the history and they learn how it developed and then how the people said we had enough after the martyrs, the killing of the 2 judges, Falcone and Borsellino. It's a big thing. There's big murals everywhere. So Sicilians are very proud that, and I'll tell you, the mafia exists like it exists in New York. It's involved with big business. It's involved with sex trade. It's involved with crypto. But they're not like going knocking on the door saying, "Give me my piece," you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very cool. There's actually stickers they put on the door and say, "Pizza, no, so don't even come here." So it's very different, which is cool because it's still pretty active in Naples and parts of Calabria, but in Palermo, not wouldn't even think of it except for the history.
Huh. I love that just hearing about these tours. And I'm just curious, they sell out for the most part?
Yeah, I only do 12 people.
Okay.
So 12 max, 10 to 12.
Okay.
So my spring tour, I have 10 sold. I can squeeze 2 more in. And then in the fall.
My daughter and I. No, sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Bring your video camera. Yeah.
But then, as you say also with the pop-ups you're doing, do you ever incorporate, like with other than just the food, hey, we have a card table over here, we're doing this? I mean, it sounds like it's so funky over there. Like you could bring some of that and create your own little environment with that.
Something to think about. Most of them I do in other restaurants. I want to do it somewhere where they have a staff and a liquor license. I'm doing one in March, Indian Ladder Farms, which is in Altamont, which was this great farm that Dave Shakin, who owns Collar City Mushrooms.
Altamont is in Columbia County?
No, it's in Albany County, but heading out towards Thatcher Park, like over there. And they took this barn and made it a really swingy, swanky place. And I'm doing a 6-course mushroom dinner there.
Oh, nice.
Because they grow mushrooms. So he gave me a list. You got lion's mane, you got beach mushrooms, you got,
That must
with all
be,
these mushrooms.
that sounds like a fun way to be a chef. Like you can do it and then you can just be like, all right, no more stress.
Close the door.
Turn it off.
Yes, I love that. I'm done. Who's cleaning up? Yes.
I love it.
For sure.
Who's signing the paychecks is the main thing.
All right, so let's bring it back to the Hudson Valley a little bit.
Yeah.
What place in the Hudson Valley would you consider your special place or the place that you love the most?
It's going to be kind of obvious, but Woodstock. But I love living in Woodstock. People ask me, when are you going to move to Sicily? I say never. I may move there when my wife retires, like 4 to 6 months a year, but I love living in Woodstock. I know everybody. I feel as quirky as Woodstock is, and as much as a pain in the ass it could be, it's fantastic. And the thing about Woodstock is I know everybody. Everybody knows me. I go out. I can't go out without, I can't go to Hannaford without having 5 conversations. It's just it's very social. And I've been there now for 30 years. So it's my second home.
It's funny. I used to have that. And then I went someplace with my daughter and no one knew me, but the chef brought out 3 meals for free. The waiter asked John. I was just like, oh, yeah. Lucy's passing the torch to the kids.
Yeah. I like a lot of the Hudson Valley. I love some of the small villages, Stone Ridge. I like Saugerties. I even like Greene County. Rhinebeck is beautiful, but Woodstock's my home.
Yeah.
And I know people there. And it is funny because there's a whole new wave of people in Woodstock. And a lot of the older people complain, it ain't Woodstock anymore. And I'm like, that was me 30 years ago.
Yeah.
There's a few people that are born in Woodstock, but most people come to Woodstock.
Right.
And, you can't hate tourists because we're all tourists. I say, people bitch about tourists and city. I'm like, didn't you ever go anywhere? You go to a new town. Do you know everything? No, you don't. You're exploring like everybody else. You go to the stupid restaurant like everybody else. You buy the stupid T-shirt like everybody else. That's what we do. That's what we do as tourists. So what?
Woodstock is a special place. And that's actually where I came up from the city to be in Woodstock. And I moved here, but that was because of Terrapin being in Rhinebeck made sense to me.
Yeah.
But I still love Woodstock.
You got a great, when that building opened up, that was a great
great move.
Yeah.
I was here since '89, but it was on radio. Even though I lived over on this side of the river for a while, it's like DST was.
So you went from this side of the river back over to Woodstock.
Well, yeah, permanently or whatever. '96 was the real move, but same thing. Being here throughout the '90s, late '80s, and to this day, it's home.
I totally feel at home there. And I walk down the street. I'm like, people beep the horn. I'm waving. It's good to be recognized, but it's also good to know that you're in a community.
Yeah, love it. I thought you were retiring, but you have so much going on, man. Holy cow.
What the fuck is retiring?
I know, and they're just switching gears and living, but it's pretty exciting. Do you have a favorite event here in the Hudson Valley?
Oh, I heard that question on the Kevin Zraeli show. Favorite event? Here's the thing. I'm in Sicily or Italy all of October. So for the last 5 years, I've missed O Positive, which I always loved O Positive. And I missed the Italian Festival. And I missed the Garlic Festival. It was a different, and it was fun. Trying to think what other events there are. I like a lot of Hudson Valley Food and Wine Fest. I do that every year. I do cooking demos there every year. So
that's funny. We actually had Michael Babcock a few weeks ago on the show.
Yeah, I like Michael. Michael was an old customer and a friend, and I started doing it. And so now, since I have my line of pasta, tomato sauce, hot sauce, rubs, barbecue sauce, I swap a booth for doing 2 demos each day. I do a demo each day, which is fun on the stage. And I have a good draw. It's a lot of people come to that thing.
That's funny because when he was on the show, I committed on air that I would do a demo booth next year.
With Rick.
Do it with me. Come on. I'll show you the ropes. It's fun. I'm more like Robin Williams when I cook up there. We're talking and things flying everywhere.
And there's no doubt you're better than me in front of a camera. So
how's you getting distribution in the Hudson Valley with all those things? Or is that online? Or do you...
Pardon me?
They're just of all your sauces and rubs and things. Like
I have a
person,
web
or are you
store.
doing everything?
I have a web store. You can find it on my website. It's also called Tastemaker Market. But I distribute some things like the rubs. I have the 6 rubs. Again, designing recipes for restaurants. Going back to the beginning, I designed all the dry seasonings for all the different ethnic things so that people weren't. I had a big sign in my kitchen said, "There's no cilantro in Korean food." Like, because people say, "Oh, I'm making a Korean dish." I'm like, put cilantro in it. I wanted to be authentic. So I have my Jamaican jerk, my Cajun, my American barbecue, my Moroccan rub called Kesh. I have a Mexican coffee rub, and I have a Latino, like adobo rub. I have my 2 hot sauces. I have a smoky barbecue sauce, smoked garlic barbecue sauce, 2 tomato sauces made with 5 ingredients, chunky and smooth, just garlic, olive oil, tomatoes, basil, salt.
Man, we have a kitchen right here. We should have just cooked tonight.
Last question, Rick. You've traveled everywhere. You made this Woodstock your home. Something unique about Hudson Valley that you haven't been able to find anywhere else? Because you've seen a lot of places and been a lot of places.
I'll give you a few things I love about the Hudson Valley. I love the mix of people. You have everything from the people that have been here 10 generations to very modern, hip people. You have a very progressive worldview overall. In the Hudson Valley, you have 4 seasons, which is beautiful. You have just an incredibly beautiful landscape, and not to sound corny, but it's just got a vibe. Hudson Valley has a vibe that I like.
I'm with you.
And you feel it. I feel like I'm home once I hit the Hudson Valley. Just the feel of everything.
I totally get that. Totally get that.
Joint.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
It was really nice getting to talk to you. We've known each other for so long, but this is the first time we've really gotten to hang out like this.
Because one or the other of us is usually in a chef coat.
Yeah, and working, right?
Get back in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Someone asked me of that recently. You should start a Hudson Valley restaurant group. I said, if you can get people to lift their head up long enough and not be looking down at a spreadsheet or a frying pan, you could do that.
That is
but
very
we all
true.
work hard here. Man.
Right. For me, it was always like everything has to be within 2 minutes and 20 seconds because I have to switch a song. So no conversation is going to be longer than that.
Dave, that's where the 70s were great. When I worked at WPLR, you'd put on like side 2 of Yes songs.
And go take a leak.
20 minutes.
Take a nap.
Yeah.
I did
Anyway,
that
I want to
TSP.
thank you guys for having me on. It was fun. Fun to chat.
Absolutely.
Oh, Rick, man, awesome seeing you. And all those years, I think resident DJ for New World for like 20 years or something. I appreciate that.
We have like a lot of legacy. You know,
Awesome.
legacy is a good word.
Yeah, I like it.
As you get older, you say, what do you have? I have legacy.
Nice.
Anyway, keep up the good work, though, and power to you, man. It's not easy anymore, But you got a formula down. You're doing what you're doing.
As far as this podcast goes, I get to spend time with two of my good friends. So, it doesn't really matter. It's a win for me.
And the restaurant's holding steady, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
There she goes. Welcome to winter in the Hudson Valley.
Thank you for listening and spending time with us on Hudson Valley Unleashed. And thanks to our producer, Jacob Hutchings. Looking for a new podcast? We release them every Tuesday. All of our shows are available on Apple Music, iHeart, and Spotify. Follow us on Instagram. Feel free to email us, info@hudsonvalleyunleashed.com. Any comments, questions, or suggestions. For Josh Kroner and Jacob Hutchings, I'm Dave Leonard saying goodbye. And until next time, stay unleashed.
Stay unleashed. If I find those headphones, I just did.
Original music by Spencer Hutchings.